Heat ripples above the desert road. The convoy crawls through Ridge Route 19 engines grumbling under the weight of supply crates. Armor shimmering in the noon haze. The ridges close in like ambush jaws, too quiet. Too still. Then impact! A flash. A roar. The lead JLTV erupts in a storm of flame and shrapnel, tearing the silence apart. The shockwave slams down the line, flinging gravel and smoke into the air. Convoy 3's hit, we're under fire. The radio explodes with static and panic. Gunfire rattles from the high ground sharp, surgical bursts cutting through the dust. Lieutenant Erin Cole doesn't hesitate. She's out of her vehicle before her driver can grab her arm. Protocol be damned if she waited. He'd burn. Smoke rolls across the road, acrid, chemical, choking, through the haze. She spots the wreck. Its frame is crumpled inward, fire clawing toward the cab. Someone's moving inside. Cole, stay behind cover. Sergeant Victor Hale's voice barks through comms. She ignores it. Instinct overrides protocol. The ridgeline erupts as Hale's team rakes the flank with suppressing fire. Brass tinkling on the armor, covering move Hale shouts. Erin sprints forward, crouched low between bursts of lead. The heat licks her face. Debris skitters off her helmet. Inside the wreck, Corporal Mason Reeve lies pinned beneath the collapsed dash, blood pooling beneath his vest. She claws through the twisted metal, coughing hard, eyes burning from the smoke. A seatbelt dangles loose. She loops it around a bent beam and pulls with everything she has. The frame groans but won't give. She pulls until her hands scream. "Come on! Move!" she snarls through clenched teeth. Another burst of rounds sparks against the hull. She braces both boots. Heaves again. The beam shudders, then cracks loose. Just enough. Erin dives inside, grips Reeve by his vest, and drags him clear. The air sears her lungs. Her vision tunnels. They tumble behind a mound of gravel just as the wreck collapses inward. Ammunition cooking off in a muffled chain of detonations. Silence follows, raw and trembling. Only the wind and the rasp of her breath remain. She presses 2 fingers to Reeve's neck, pulse faint, but alive. A long breath escapes her. Half relief, half disbelief. Then faint. From the distance comes a low thump, thump, thump. Rotor blades. Erin looks up, soot streaking her face. A rescue bird inbound, but deep down, she knows this isn't over. Tell us where you're watching from and hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. The war's just getting started. The canyon burns but quieter now, as if the desert itself is holding its breath. Gunfire still cracks from the ridge, each shot ricocheting off stone, echoing like thunder that won't fade. Smoke clings low, thick and metallic, swallowing sound and color alike. Lieutenant Erin Cole drags Corporal Mason Reeve across the gravel, her boots slipping in ash and grit. His vest is shredded. Breath shallow. Every pull feels heavier than the last. "Stay with me," she growls, voice raw and fraying. "You don't check out on my watch." Behind them, the burning JLTV collapses in a dull, rolling boom, fire curling into the canyon sky. Heat presses against her back like a living thing. She scans the terrain, nothing but ruin. Then she spots a fractured ridge wall ahead, 50 meters out. It's not safe, but it's higher ground. Erin hooks her arms under Reeve's shoulders and starts moving again. Each step is punishment. Her ribs grind, her lungs scrape. Halfway there, she drops behind a slab of broken rock, just enough cover to breathe. Dust fills her mouth. She coughs hard, wipes soot from her visor, and forces herself back up. The radio hisses alive at her belt. Command confirms medevac en route, ETA 6 minutes. LZ south of the ridge. 6 minutes, she almost laughs. But it comes out a rasp. 6 minutes. We can make that. She drags him the last few meters behind a berm of shattered stone, chest heaving. She presses her hand to his armor, barely rising. But still there. A gust rips the smoke aside. Movement flickers high on the ridge shapes. Coordinated, rifles glinting. Not scavengers. Hostiles. Cole. Report Hale's voice cuts through the static. Still breathing. One critical. Hostiles on the high ground. Gunfire bursts in the distance. Friendly return fire. Close, but not close enough. Erin presses herself low. Scopes the ridge, through the shimmer of heat. She catches the first silhouette creeping forward. Then another. She exhales slow, tightens her grip on the rifle. The world narrows to the space between her scope and her heartbeat. "Griffin, this is Vanguard." A voice snaps over comms. "LZ not cold. Hold until cleared." Erin clenches her jaw. 6 minutes feels like forever. She steadies her rifle against the dirt, sights locked on the ridge, somewhere behind her. Reeve draws a shallow breath. The rescue is coming, but so are they. A single sound slices through the dark. Beep, beep, beep. The last thing Lieutenant Erin Cole remembers is the ridge folding into fire. Then nothing. Now, machines breathe around her. The air smells not of smoke, but antiseptic and gauze. Light seeps through her eyelids. She jolts awake, lungs clawing for air, hands reaching for a rifle that isn't there. Canvas ceiling, white glare, not the canyon, not the ridge. A calm voice anchors her. "Easy, Lieutenant," says Sergeant Leah Kim. "Steady as a medic and soldier both. You're safe. Field tent, Bravo 1. You've been out for 6 hours." Erin's throat is sandpaper. "Reeve. Where is he?" Leah nods towards the next bay, her expression softening. "ICU. He's stable. You dragged him clear before the second blast spread. You saved his leg barely." Relief hits like a punch. Erin sinks back, chest tight, breath shaky. The IV tugs against her wrist. Pain in her ribs reminds her she's still alive. Outside, engines rumble. Voices trade clipped orders. The war hasn't stopped. It's just moved a few miles down the line. Leah checks her vitals. Tone even. "You pushed harder than most ever could. Command says you're lucky to be conscious?" Erin turns her head. The tent walls pulse with the desert wind, sunlight bleeding through a small tear near the flap. She blinks and catches movement beyond it. Rows of shadows. Upright. Still. "What's going on out there?" she whispers. Leah hesitates. Just long enough for the silence to mean something. "They've been here since you came in." Erin frowns. "Waiting for what?" "Most rotated out after the medevac." Leah answers quietly. "Command kept this detachment on standby for morale." Erin blinks against the haze of medication. Shapes sharpen beyond the flap soldiers in formation. Rifles slung. Shoulders squared. Not dozens a company's worth. Motionless under the desert sun. The radio on a nearby tray crackles Captain Danner to all units maintain formation. Pain flares when she tries to sit. She grips the cot frame, teeth clenched. Formation for what, Oppie? Leah's eyes meet hers. Not an op, a beat, recognition. Wind rattles the canvas. A medic passing by slows, glancing in expression quiet, reverent. Erin's pulse quickens. The world outside feels suddenly heavy, expectant. Leah steps beside the stretcher, voice steady. "Ready to see for yourself." Erin nods once. Her fingers tremble as Leah grips the handles. The flap parts. Sunlight floods in and the world outside stands waiting. The tent flap bursts open in a rush of light and heat. Lieutenant Erin Cole blinks hard. pupils tightening against the desert glare. The Karam highlands stretch wide before her gold and dust and stillness. The wind carries the scent of engine oil and scorched sand. But beneath it, something quieter. Anticipation. "Slow," murmurs Sergeant Leah Kim, steadying the stretcher. "Let your eyes adjust." Erin breathes once, then freezes. Before her, across the sunlit valley, stands a company formation of soldiers' Task Force Vanguard's forward detachment, a few hundred strong, perfectly aligned. Helmets glint, rifles grounded, boots rooted deep in the dirt, no movement, no sound. The battalion flag drifts above them, its colors faded but proud. What is this?" Erin whispers. From the front rank, Captain Elias Danner steps forward. His uniform is still dust-streaked from the ridge. Sleeves rolled, eyes steady. He halts just a few feet away, and without a word raises his hand in salute, and the world goes still. The motion ripples through the ranks like a wave, one after another. Soldiers lift their hands in perfect unison. No bugle, no order. Just the soundless weight of acknowledgement that speaks louder than any command. Erin's breath catches. Her throat tightens, but she forces herself to hold his gaze. "I just did what I had to." She manages. Danner lowers his salute slowly. His voice is quiet, roughened by dust and truth. That's exactly why they're here. She scans the formation faces she knows, and many she doesn't. Every one of them carries the same look: respect without ceremony, gratitude without words. The silence presses in, steady and alive, for a moment. Erin feels every second since the ridge the fear, the fire, the weight, and realizes this is the only sound she's ever wanted: nothing but peace. The wind tugs at her hair. A faint tremor moves through her hands, but she doesn't hide it. Danner takes a single step closer. "They don't salute medals, Lieutenant," he says softly. "They salute moments that remind them who they are." Her chest shakes with a breath that almost becomes a sob, but she swallows it, lets the quiet do the talking. Somewhere beyond the valley, a helicopter spools up again, rotors cutting through the rising light. The same sound that once meant chaos now feels like a heartbeat returning to life. Erin turns her head toward it, eyes bright, and for the first time since Ridge Route 19, she smiles. The world feels quieter now. No explosions, no orders shouted through static, only the slow rhythm of engines and the steady hum of recovery. Months have passed since Ridge Route 19. Lieutenant Erin Cole sits alone in a hospital room at Fort Halden Base. Sunlight spilling across the pale tiles. Her left hand remains bandaged, fingers stiff but healing. The air smells of coffee, antiseptic, and something faintly metallic like memory. On the desk lies a stack of paperwork post-mission reports, commendations, and one sealed envelope stamped Department of the Army Medal of Valor recommendation. She stares at it for a long time. Then she opens a new form beside it and writes, "Indeliberate, even strokes decline attendance." Her pen stops for the first time in months. The silence feels kind. Outside, soldiers march across the courtyard, their cadence echoing between concrete walls. The world keeps moving steady, indifferent. But Erin feels something different now. Not the adrenaline of survival, nor the numbness that follows it, something quieter, a stillness that doesn't demand permission. The door opens softly. Corporal Mason Reeve steps in on crutches, his leg still braced, movement cautious but steady. He's paler, thinner, but alive when he spots her. His grin is small and real. You really turned down the ceremony. She smirks faintly. That salute was enough. He nods, the emotion behind his laugh unspoken. Yeah, more than enough. They sit in the soft quiet that follows no words needed. Outside. A breeze carries the low rumble of a departing transport plane. Erin glances at the far wall where 2 photos hang her brother in an old uniform. The same dog tag catching the light, and beside it, Reeves' tag bent, burned, but intact. You didn't have to drag me out, Mason says quietly. Her gaze stays on the window. The desert beyond is turning gold again under the late sun. Maybe that's what we're all trying to do. She murmurs. Bring someone home. Mason follows her eyes to the horizon where the sun bleeds over the ridge. A helicopter lifts off in the distance, its rotors slicing through the light. Erin watches it rise, the sound fading into the wind, until it's just sky. Some medals are worn on the chest, others live behind the ribs. And sometimes, the weight of one act of courage doesn't change the war, it changes the person who walks away from it.